Yes, thanks, Jerry. It is time for our AM Minnesota program, a service of IBEW Local Union 110, also Pleasant Manor, Pleasant View Estates, and Rice County Mutual. We're bringing you our AM Minnesotas throughout the week. We had a lovely lady pop in here last minute. The Superintendent of Schools, Todd Sesker, is with us. Emily Reavers is with us as well. The Miss Congeniality of the Fair Queen pageant.
Yes, it's quite an award.
I was telling you after the crowning that I have had a number of ladies tell me over the years, and this is the truth, that they think Miss Congeniality is the best award to receive because your peers vote on who the nicest, most congenial person.
Well, it is very nice. It's good to know that people somewhat like you, that you're not just not the friendliest person, but it's a really nice award because I can go with the girls if I want to and go to all this fun stuff they get to go to. But yet again, I can go take a nap in my pen when it gets too hot.
You've been doing a little napping in the pen?
Yep. The heat gets to you. I did that twice already.
So what are you showing down here at the fair?
Sheep. I showed sheep the other day.
How'd that go?
Pretty good. There was some better sheep than mine, but I was in the ring.
What do they look for in sheep?
Well, it's not square, but it's not round. It's essentially, sheep are very hard to explain, but they like long sheep. That's the main thing.
So we're talking body shape.
Yeah, they like them really long.
And you have control over that? That's not a genetic thing?
It's a genetic thing. You just gotta try and find them.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta pick them out.
Are there different breeds of sheep?
Yes, there are. There's breeding ones and there's market. So I show market. It's Suffolk and Hamp mix.
Yeah. Well, I like lamb chops.
So does my brother.
I probably shouldn't have said that to someone. You don't mind, do you?
No. I live on a farm.
Yeah. Refresh our memories, will you, Emily? What are your future plans?
I am headed to St. Ben's this fall. It's in St. Joseph. I'm undecided right now, but that's okay.
Agriculture related, you think?
I have absolutely no idea.
Really?
I am all over the place, yeah.
So you're just going to get your generals out of the way.
Pretty much. Yep.
Next couple of years, and then hope you decide what you want to do the rest
Hopefully.
of your life.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you'll meet a rich doctor.
You never know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe she'll be
so
the
what do you
rich
got
doctor.
on stake for today? I mean, you already showed your...
Yeah. So I'm actually going to head over to the pig show and PIP, which is, there's 4-H'ers that can show not their animals, essentially.
Right.
I'm going to head over to that, and I'm going to go to the rodeo tonight with the girls, and...
You gonna ride a bull?
Hopefully not. I don't think that's my thing. I think I'd fall off in the first 5 seconds.
Well, Jerry, who is 60 years old, is talking about riding a bull.
Well, that's very impressive. I don't think that would ever happen for me.
I think it's the mechanical bull.
Yeah.
It's not a real bull, but, well, I guess there is quite a bit of difference now that I think about it.
It's still rough. I saw a couple kids get launched.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, he likes that. He's a kind of a thrill seeker. He used to be in the wild cow milking contest over at the Goodhue County Fair and almost killed himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Jerry's sitting back at the studios. You might want to wish him the best.
Yeah, good luck, Jerry. It's impressive. Every time I walk by, I see people on it, and I go, oh, that looks so cool. And then they get launched, and I just kind of back away.
You hear that? You might get launched, Jerry. Superintendent of Schools Todd Sesker stops by our booth here at the Rice County Fair. Yeah, that's on. Had to make sure the wireless was on there. Well, thanks, Todd, for coming out. I need you to hold that for me, please.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Gordy, for having me out here. I'm looking forward to getting back into the radio interviews and talking to the people in the Faribault area and talking about all the good things that are happening at Faribault Public Schools. I do want to say before we start, I want to publicly acknowledge our police force and our sheriff's department on behalf of the Faribault Public Schools, and I'm sure I can probably speak for all the schools that we want to say that we support you and everything that you do, and you guys do a great job, and we couldn't be prouder of both of our Andy Bolin and his force and Troy Dunn and his folks over at the law enforcement offices.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. Appreciate that, Todd. I'm sure they appreciate it as well. So we're going to dive into the Faribault Public Schools. Your summer has been not quite as busy as April, May, I understand.
Yeah, April and May were just, it was really busy for some reason. We just had a lot of things going on, a lot of positive things going on. We were wrapping up 3 new programs that we implemented this past year and doing some analysis with that, and all 3 programs were successful. Probably the #1 program that we've been implementing is our newcomer program. We have a newcomer center in the elementary, the middle school, and the high school, and it's for all kids. We've been able to reduce class sizes as a result of pulling some of those kids out of those classrooms, and our kids are getting more one-to-one attention from our teachers, and likewise our kids who need some help with the English language and some academics are getting some one-on-one help, so that's been a great program for us.
How did the legislature do for schools?
You know, it wasn't a great year for schools this year. It was mainly a bonding year, and actually I'm still keeping my fingers crossed they're going to get this special session rolling. There's a huge ag tax credit coming up that would be outstanding for our community. It's almost a 40% decrease in some of the net tax capacity dollar amounts. That's mainly the bond issues, the building preference for schools, so it could have a huge impact on our ag folks.
That would be addressed, you think, in a special session?
Yeah, that would be one of the hot topics at the special session. So hopefully that'll get organized. If not, we'll have to wait till next spring.
I mean, let's face it, we're primarily a rural state, so.
We are, and especially down in this area, we have so many good things, and even if you go to the fair, I was in and out on some of the booths here, and I know they've got a couple of shows with the pigs and the cattle coming up here pretty soon, and boy, those farmers could use a little break, and they do such a good job for us.
By the way, AM Minnesota, again, is a service of Rice County Mutual, Pleasant Manor, Pleasant View Estates, and IBEW, Local Union 110. We're visiting with Todd Sesker. He's the superintendent of the Faribault Public Schools. I told you while we were eating breakfast over at the Cardinal Cafe that elderly gentleman stopped by the KDHL studios the other day and wanted to ask me a question. He said, who do I talk to about the bleachers out of Bruce Smith Field? And I said, you know, Danny Duchesne might be a good person, but then I got to thinking that you're coming out here at the fair, so I said I'll ask the superintendent, and he really does have a good point. He thinks railings should be put out at the bleachers because, well, I saw some individuals almost fall down on them. Mike Morrissey, who used to work for us, had trouble with some of those stairs, so a railing makes sense.
It does make sense, and first of all, thanks to the BA Cardinals for that great breakfast this morning. I had their pancakes. Yeah. That was very good, so good job. Yeah, in fact, it's kind of a segue into one of the topics that we've been talking about this summer, is that we've got a group of folks. We're continuing to organize that piece. We had kind of a first introductory meeting a week ago to look at all of our facilities, not just the buildings, but the athletic complexes, all those different areas to make sure that they're safe. If they're not safe, how do we make them safe? If they're safe already, can we make them safer? For example, our front entries to our elementary schools, they're safe because we have some locks on them, but can we make them safer? Can we make them more welcoming? We also want to make sure that the learning environment, can the learning environment improve? If it can improve by facilities, what do we do with those facilities? And functionality, is it good for staff? Is it good for students? And then finally, is it good for this community? There might be some things out there, not necessarily in our academic buildings, but maybe in our athletic facilities, that we could really do a nice improvement to not only the school district but also the community. There's been talk about a field house, there's been talk about baseball fields, gymnastics centers, things like that that are just at the surface of the conversation right now, that the school board has asked this ad hoc facility committee to investigate to see whether or not it's worth going to the voters next fall. Not this coming fall, but the fall of 2017.
Well, you could outline a 10-year plan, for example. We're going to improve this facility, and every other year maybe have a project or something, so that it doesn't all come on one big fell swoop.
It is, and we've already come up. Actually, that was one of the goals that the school board set for me, was to come up with a 5-year plan, and we did that. We were successful doing that. Got some of the folks that are coming through, and we have a new source of funding from the state of Minnesota called the Long-Term Facility Maintenance Funding. And this year it's about the same, maybe a little bit more, that we got for our operating capital needs, our deferred maintenance projects that we've been putting off, which will allow us to free up some of our bricks and mortar revenue. But the next couple of years, it really gets to be a significant dollar amount. We're talking $600,000, $700,000 more revenue for Faribault Public Schools that can help address that. So we have those two categories built in a 5-year plan, but there are still categories that don't fit in that plan. And so those categories are going into what we call the potential bond issue in 2 years. And so that's what this committee is all about. They're going to be researching and looking at the data and investigating with those different questions. Is it safer? Is it better for kids? Is it better for staff? Is it better for this community? And then checking to see if this is something that the board would like to take up at an election.
Sure. We'll visit with Todd Sesker more during AM Minnesota, but right now we're going to throw it back to the studios and today, where we're going to visit with someone from the Rice County Public Health Nursing Service, but something came up and she wasn't able to join us. They may be coming out later today to talk about some of the things they're educating us about at their booth. But thanks, Todd, for coming in.
Thank you very much, Gordy. I really appreciate the time. And as always, it's been a good time for me to let people know all the good things that are happening at Faribault Public Schools, and it's great to be a Falcon.
We got a nice breeze here in the tent, don't we?
We do. It feels good when that breeze when that breeze shows up.
Oh yeah, nature's air conditioning. I love it.
Yep, very good.
You know, I don't know about you, Todd. You're quite a bit younger than me, I think, but I didn't have air conditioning when I grew up, so.
You know, we didn't either. So I'm in my mid-50s right now,
or
low 50s. So we're probably pretty close to age. Yeah, I was an '81 high school graduate. Yep. It's my 35th year for our class reunion. Unfortunately, there weren't enough of us to get together, so we had to cancel this year.
Well, that's a bummer. Where'd you go to school?
Forest City, Iowa. Yep, just south of the border. And home of the Winnebago.
An Iowan.
An Iowan, you bet.
And you went to Luther, right?
I did, yep. So I've been in Minnesota now for 32 years. So I was 14 years a teacher and a coach and an activities director, and now I just finished my 17th year as a superintendent. Time flies.
I almost went to Luther myself.
Yep, it's a great school. My daughter just graduated from there, and yeah, we've got a lot of connections.
I was at the Dorian Festival.
Yes, yep.
And that's what almost sold me on going to Luther.
Yep, a lot of high school kids still attend that, so it's great.
The bummer of it was, when I was in the Dorian Festival, I don't know, I had an injury in basketball or something, I'm on crutches. You know how hilly.
Oh, yeah.
Luther College.
Yep. And probably at that time they didn't have all the ADA compliances and things like that. No, great school.
And so are the Faribault Public Schools, and I know you're very proud to be the superintendent here in Faribault.
I am. I've had a great 5 years since I've been here, and I hope to continue that in the future. I've got great staff. The community is terrific. My school board, and I'll mention them, you know, I got Chad Wolf, Andrea Vogelsberg, Richard Olson, Tom Casper, Yvette Marthaler, Jerry Robichaux, Jason Ingbrecht. I hope I got them all.
You
that
did.
was supposed to be 7.
That was good.
They've done a terrific job. I've been around for 17 years, and I know the difference between a tough board and a high-functioning board, and we're a high-functioning board. They really do work together. And for one instance is right now I've got Chad Wolf and Richard Olson working together on this ad hoc facility committee. Both are doing great. They both have a passion for facilities and improving our environment for kids. So it's been really enjoyable.
Well, I know we talked about it before. For health reasons, you know, you get the goose skunk on the football field, and you suggested maybe Austin got a dome.
Yep. Yeah, we've talked about that. That's another thing that they'll consider. I think the one thing that's a little bit difficult for us is we're kind of in that floodplain. So if we do it, we'd have to almost do a different location. But there's other things that we can look at that might help. Maybe we put something above the bleachers on the visitor side. Build something so that when the geese come down, they can't do the things that they do that make that not a great environment for our visitors to sit in. But a couple new projects that we got finished this past year are the district office. We are now located on the south end of town, connected to the middle school. So if you need to stop by and say hello or talk or debate, I love to have a little bit of a debate. Don't be afraid to come in and talk. But we're connected to the middle school on that southwest side. It's a beautiful facility. The Faribault Education Center is complete now. That's off the south side of the high school. That hosts our adult basic ed classes and our adults with disabilities. We're doing some really cool things right now and with our neighbor, the South Central College folks. Dr. Parker does a great job over there, and we collaborate very well with that group.
In Minnesota, Todd Sesker is the superintendent of the Faribault Public Schools. He's with us. We only have a few minutes left in the show, Todd. Is there anything else you wanted to get the word out about? We talked about the offices being at the middle school, they'll be opening while you're already there, right?
Yeah, yep, we're already there. We moved in. We'll have an open house probably sometime in September when we get all settled in. We still have a couple of things. Furniture, for instance, we need to get the furniture in and finish up the technology, and same thing with the FEC. It's almost got everything in there. We're using some of the older furniture right now to compensate, but it's working great.
Speaking of technology, is there Wi-Fi available everywhere on the Faribault Schools campuses?
There is. You know, what's ironic about that is that we have Wi-Fi all over Faribault campuses, but at the middle school, the Verizon network for cell phones is really pretty poor. So if you call me on the cell phone, chances are you may not get a hold of me, so you'll have to use my 6010 phone number to try to get a hold of me.
Oh.
Yeah, which is too bad. So this is a plug-in to get Verizon out here and maybe help solve that issue. So yeah. Verizon, you're out there, help us out.
Well, there you go. Somebody from Verizon is listening. Action. You got to talk about it. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So no, everything's going very well. We're healthy financially at the school district. We've got great staff. We've hired some wonderful teachers to go along with our super veteran teachers. We've improved in our academic performances, both the MCAs and NWAs, every single year over the last 5 years. So things are going in a great direction, and that only helps again with community support and our strong school board. So
everybody knows we have a very diverse population in the Faribault Public Schools, and without that diversity, you'd be hurt.
We would be. Yeah, we would be closing schools if we didn't have that diversity. So we need to support, and we've been addressing it. Like I said, if we implement a program, sometimes it looks like it's for our diverse community, but it's also for all of our community. The newcomer program is a perfect example. When those kids get their one-to-one attention in that newcomer center, that frees up the other students in that classroom to get one-to-one attention from those teachers. And it's a win-win situation for all the kids. So it's going very well. Sam Oak has done a good job with that program. I'll also say that Jessica Lewis has done a wonderful job for the Adult Basic Education program. That has increased from 250 students to 450 students, and you know, in our economy, we need people to go out there and work, and this is how you train that workforce, is with education, education, education.
And you hope that kids will go on to college, but that's not for everybody either, you know?
It is not. No, it's not. Everybody's not built the same way, and not everybody has the same goals. It's just part of our culture, and that goes for any school. You try to give them some good basis for solid decision making and a good, strong education background, so they have the flexibility of making the choices that they want to.
You touched on the relationship you have with South Central College and President Parker. Mm-hmm. That automotive program going well?
Well, you know, we lost our teacher. Mark Lessman did retire this year, and so we all kind of panicked, and because Mark has been an outstanding teacher, as everybody knows, and we have found a replacement for Mark, and it's a person that will make into a community expert. Mark's going to help with some of the classroom techniques, so we were able to find somebody, and we're excited to keep that program going. So we're really concerned because it is an outstanding program. We haven't connected with the automotive piece with the South Central College, but we have done some manufacturing and mechatronic pieces and some nursing and health pieces with South Central College.
And I'm sure you were able to do a joint look for somebody with the college, right?
Oh, yeah.
They assist you in finding this person to replace Mark?
Oh, well, they haven't. We did most of that on our own, and because again, they don't. The North Mankato campus with South Central College has the automotive program. We don't have one here in Faribault. I'd love to have one. But we did most of that search on our own. And Jamie Benty, who's our new high school principal, Lyle Turtle, as you know, retired this past year, and he did a wonderful job. And so Jamie, and there's a new assistant principal now, Sheila Stahlberger, and they did a little recruiting and were able to get this position nailed down.
Yeah, well, let's get all these folks on AM Minnesota so we can get to know them a little bit better. It's kind of tough when school starts. See if we can't get that done before school, but in an election year we have to get those folks on too. So we're going to be very busy the next few months. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you very much, and again, Gordy, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk, and go Falcons.